Hi, I'm back in the movie theater. Like I said last week, back here to see Superman, the new James Gunn launch of the new attempt at the DCU. With, of course, the character that should jumpstart a universe like this, Superman, the new version of Superman with David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. It is really loud over here, so I really hope you can hear me. But yeah, the movie's about to start. I'm just giving it a few minutes for the trailers and commercials to play because I got nothing better to do than waste my time watching 20 to 30 minutes of this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to see this. I've been hearing a lot of good things, mixed things, but good things from people that I trust, people that I know, people that I follow. And I just really hope this movie lives up to its namesake and to the promise that it's trying to bring, or the promise of a new, vibrant, healthy DC universe that could compete with the MCU, the old MCU in its height, in its prime. But yeah, Superman 2025. Here we go. I'll pop in away. Da, 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 da. Hi, so I'm back. I'm out of the movie. I just saw Superman, the James Gunn version. It's kind of funny, but it's the first time we ever get a big screen live action movie called Superman. Like the 78 version was called Superman the movie. And then after that we had all like Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, and then we had Superman Returns and Man of Steel. This is the first time we actually got a movie just simply titled Superman. Crazy that it took almost 90 years of this character existing for that to happen. But I digress. What do I think about the movie? Well, for starters, I'll start by saying this. It is definitely, absolutely, 100%ly a James Gunn movie. First and foremost. And oh yeah, it just happens to also be a Superman movie. Now, it's not a James Gunn movie that happens to have Superman in it. It is a James Gunn movie that happens to also be a Superman movie. If that makes sense to anybody. Now, I will say this. The James Gunn-ness of it all does take over the movie. But it doesn't overshadow the title character. It is still very much a Superman movie. Superman's front and center in the story. Lois Lane is also, well, not front and center because she's not Superman, but I mean, you get the meaning. Like, Superman is definitely the main character. Lex Luthor is definitely the main villain. Lois Lane is definitely the main love interest. Metropolis is the main setting. Blah 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 blah. You get it. So yeah, it is a Superman movie, but I think at times, the James Gunn-ness of it all kind of takes over, and that's not a bad thing. It's not really not a bad thing. I mean, I loved the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Third one's not particularly my favorite, but I still liked it. I liked the Suicide Squad movie. It's kind of hard for me to watch that movie again. Not because it was bad, because, I mean, I guess I can spoil it because it's a movie that came out years ago. I am very, very sensitive to anything that has to do with eyes and eye pain. I mean, I've got a hair in my eye right now that's really bugging me. So it's hard for me to watch that movie again because of what happens to Starro at the end of that movie concerning, his eyes basically get, one eye basically gets targeted. That's how kind of they stop him. And it seems like James Gunn might have a fetish for eyes for whatever reason. That's one thing I can say about this movie without spoiling too much. So it is one of the things that kind of makes it harder for me to watch this movie as well. But I loved it. I mean, I loved it more than the Suicide Squad movie. I think it's definitely a lot closer to the Guardians movies than it is that Suicide Squad movie, but it is still definitely, like I said, it's a James Gunn movie. And here's, I think, where the point of the video where I have to switch arms because that one's getting tired. First off, here's something I think I can say without spoiling. It is not an origin story for Superman. It is not a movie that starts with Superman's beginnings. Like, I think it's pretty obvious from the trailers and all the marketing, and you get it pretty much in the first few minutes of the movie, that this movie is basically, it is not the pilot episode of this DCU franchise. It is more so like the season 2 premiere. At least that's the way the movie is structured. Like, you're already being dropped into an existing universe with metahumans, with superheroes, established superheroes, by the way, and an established Superman. Like, no more of that seeing Krypton die again nonsense. But you definitely get the gist. I mean, by now, everyone and their grandmother already knows the origin story of Superman, so I don't think it's really necessary. You kind of get hints of that in a way that I think really works for this movie. But it really just, it kind of starts in the middle of an existing story where some things are already established without you as a viewer knowing about it. And that is one of the slight few negatives about this movie, is some things are kind of left underdeveloped. Certain characters, in particular, are kind of left underdeveloped in this movie. A character in particular that I think, it doesn't bother me too much, but I would have preferred knowing more about this particular character. Is one thing I can say without spoiling too much. The other characters that don't really get as established as perhaps they should, it doesn't bother me as much. Like, I love seeing Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. I love seeing Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl. These are characters I grew up with and characters I've learned to familiarize myself over the years. But there's one character in particular I think could have been done better. Again, without spoiling, which I think it didn't. It didn't quite get the attention that maybe that character deserved. But that character is not too important to the main story. The main character that's really important for the story is, of course, Lex Luthor, which I'm gonna say it straight up. I'm not the biggest fan of Lex Luthor. I think he might be the weakest link in this movie. And I'm sorry to say it. And it's nothing against Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult's a great actor. He's written very well. It's not a writing issue. It's not a performance issue. I think it's a direction problem. I think the way the way Nicholas Hoult was instructed and directed to be in this movie is a bit lackluster, to say the least. He's very cartoony, very obnoxious, not at all like the cold, calculating Lex Luthor that maybe we're supposed to expect. I mean, I know Nicholas Hoult has mentioned in interviews that he had Michael Rosenbaum's performance as Lex Luthor as an inspiration point. I did not see it on screen. I mean, I didn't get it. Obviously, no one's ever going to touch Michael Rosenbaum and his portrayal of Lex Luthor. He's untouchable. He will always and forever be the best Lex Luthor, in my opinion. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult, I'm sorry. I love the guy. I love the actor. It didn't do it for me. I think he's the weakest link in the movie, to be honest. But on the plus side, David Cornsweet is amazing as Superman. As I switch arms again, David Cornsweet nails it as Superman. He just embodies that character in a way that very few actors did. Obviously, you get your Tyler Hoechlins and your Christopher Reeves of the world and your Tom Wellings. I'm not quite sure yet how I think Cornsweet ranks up among these legends. I think I might need to rewatch the movie again and maybe revisit some of these older actors that I mentioned to figure out where I think he should land on that list. But he's definitely a worthy inclusion to that pantheon of Superman actors. And I'm just now realizing I somehow forgot about Henry Cavill, and I'm ashamed of that. I liked Cavill as well, but I think his Superman was kind of muddied by how that DCEU franchise was handled. I'll say that. Hopefully, Cornsweet doesn't have to go through the same trials and tribulations, and hopefully this movie sets up the DCEU greatly, because I think it really does. I mean, that's one thing I think you could say is a positive for the way that this movie basically just starts in the middle of a story, is that you're already in an established universe, you have a team of heroes, let's go. And I think that that's going to work in this movie's favor, in this universe's favor. But yeah, again, this is still early days, first movie out of the gate. Hopefully they can keep this up. If the other DCU movies planned out are as good as this movie, we're in for some great things with the new DCU, and we're going to see some great DC movies that hopefully can capture the same magic that the MCU had in its early years, and is hopefully trying to recover in more recent years and upcoming projects. So yeah, overall, I really like the movie. David Cornsweet kills it. Rachel Brosnahan is great. I even liked the Jimmy Olsen character. I loved the Guy Gardner Green Lantern, and I loved Mr. Terrific in the movie. Loved Hawkgirl. Metamorpho I could have used more of, and yes, he's in the trailer, so I didn't spoil it. The character of the Engineer, I think, which is also in the trailers, I think could have been done a little bit better. The Ultraman character, not gonna spoil, but I like what James Gunn did there. Like, if you know, you know. But again, Lex Luthor to me is the weakest link of the main characters in the movie. And it's unfortunate because it's Lex Luthor. But it is what it is. Hopefully, if we get to see this character come back again, he'll do better. I mean, again, first movie out of the gate, there's still room for improvement. Really good start, still room for improvement. Now, as for post-credit scenes, there are two of them. There's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene after all the credits. Do I think they're good? Do I think they set up for stuff in the future? It's James Gunn. That's all I can say. No comment necessary other than it's James freaking Gunn. Like I said, it's a James Gunn movie through and through. I guess without spoiling, I think the movie does a better job setting up for the rest of the DCU movies than the post-credit scenes do. There, I said it. Anyways, that's it. That's my Superman review. I'm going to enjoy this new Superman Cup of the Cape. I have no idea how practical it's going to be, but I'm definitely going to try. So there. Thank you for watching, and go see this movie because it's really special, and just as an overall celebration of a character we've loved for so many years. Goodbye for now. Hi there. Thank you for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it,
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.